Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood number 555-605 flush bolt. This is the quintessential extension, lever extension flush bolt. This is the common flush bolt that you see everywhere. It's ubiquitous in the door hardware industry. It's like getting French fries at a hot dog stand. You're always going to see them there. The 555 is a typical 6 3/4 by 1 inch lever style extension flush bolt that is used primarily on on steel doors, although you do see them installed in wood doors very often. Typically intended for steel doors. Okay, it's a lever extension because it has this flip or lever in the edge of it, which drives the bolt up and down. And being Rockwood is synonymous with very good quality fit and finish, very good, solid, reliable operation in the back. 605, first 555 standard flush bolt. 605 means polished brass, and that's going to mean that it's a solid brass base material with a polished finish on it. Okay, you're going to get with it a 12-inch extension rod, which threads down into here. Other rod lengths are available. 12 inch is going to be very typical for your 6'8" doors, your 7-foot doors, your 7'2" doors. You get above about 7'6", and you really need to go to an 18-inch rod or a 24-inch rod or even longer. So keep that in mind. If you're dealing with 8-foot doors, probably going to want to think about an 18-inch rod or even a 24-inch rod for this, and we can help you with those longer rods. Okay. Also going to get a bolt head, which threads onto the opposite end. I should have removed that, but get it right back here. Okay, so that's what your installation looks like. Okay. You're going to get a strike plate that will go either into the header or the sill. You're going to get a rod guide, a bolt guide. That's very important to install. It's intended to look like this at either the top or bottom of the door. And you can see that that's flattened off there at the end, okay, to mate with that preparation in the guide. You don't want that bolt head unthreading on you. That's very problematic if this were to come out, fall out, and then you've got a loose rod in your door, then you know, probably not going to get those parts back out of your door very easily. You're going to get a package of screws and a complementary finish. Rockwood typically includes these combination thread wood and machine thread screws, which is very handy. So I said earlier that this flush bolt is typical for metal doors, and by the way, it's available in several different architectural finishes. Metal doors is what this is typically used in. 1 inch wide, 6 3/4 tall. There's a link below this video to a cut sheet or tech sheet, which is going to show everything important dimensionally about this. Your strike, this is all very typical stuff. 2 1/4 by 1. Your guide is practically the same. It's 2 inches long, however. Before we talk about installation of this, click on Product Brochure if you want to pause this video and check that out. It will show the Rockwood 555 and its sister-related products. Okay, other variants of it, the 550 extension bolt. Same sort of situation, but with a wider face, which I think was very common, or much more common many, many years ago. But in the last 20 years, I really see just a 1 inch wide face on the flush bolt. Then there's that link to tech sheet, which shows everything important dimensionally about the flush bolt. And you can see there that they're calling out a 5 1/4 inch high mortise for the body of the bolt, etc. if you're installing this into a steel door, assuming that the steel door has already been prepped for the body so that you could actually install this, it's got tabs that would be drilled and tapped back here to hold all that in. And, of course, a preparation at the top to receive your plate, your guide plate. Installation is really easy. You put this into the door. What I like to be able to do is to get my bolt head attached down, or sometimes what people will do is just attach all this together and just sneak it through the end of the door, which certainly would work, does work. However, doesn't, however you get it in. Get your top guide attached, and then of course your strike, assuming your frame is prep board if it's at the head. The problem with using these in wood doors, and it's not a problem, but this is not the best choice for a wood door if you have to prep the wood door because of the extension rod. Now you can do your preparation for the body of the bolt and the plate of the bolt. What I call the plate is the finished faceplate, and then the body is the deeper mortise that you have to do. So almost all preparations that you're going to do with a router on a wood door are going to involve two setups, a body prep and a plate prep. You can very occasionally have more than two, but then you're dealing with something like an overhead stop that could have a body, a plate, and then a face prep as well. But for a flush bolt, you got a body and a plate. You're going to do your body preparation first with your router. And that's easy. You can do that per the the template for the most part. You've got an 1 3/8 deep prep they want, 5 1/4 high. They don't give you the width, but you can measure the width. It's really handy to have a caliper when you're doing this. Measure just this width, margin out a little bit more perhaps, not to go bigger than 1 inch. So you can plunge route that, and then come back with a little router and do the plate and square out your corners. All right, that's easy. Hard part's getting this down there. How I've done it countless times is you gotta have the right tools like anything else. We would have a large guide for a 18-inch drill bit in a 1/2-inch chuck Milwaukee style drill. That guide gets clamped onto the door, and then you can take that drill and drill into the door, okay, very slowly and surely, removing out the wood that you've drilled through. The problem is that the edge of the door to the center of where you're drilling for this bolt is typically right in the margin between where the stile is and the less dense core of the door, the particle board. So that drill bit really wants to do this. By the time you get over to where it needs to mate to thread in, that hole from the top of the door down to where the body is now done this. And it's really not a great idea to try to do that in the field. When door manufacturers are doing it, well, they're routing all those stiles and the core before they're assembling the door so that they know it's going to come out correct the first time, basically. And they're leaving a void, basically, I think, is what they do, or they route the channel. They route a channel in the stile as they're laying up the doors to allow the threaded rod to go through. So the router preparation is easy. It's just drilling for the extension or for the threaded rod. Think about now the exacerbated problem if you've got an 18-inch or a 24-inch rod. You need an extremely long drill bit, etc. If you're doing wood doors, order them from the factory already prepped for these flush bolts, which won't be a problem. If you're doing steel doors, that's a no-brainer. Order them from the factory that way. You can't really prep these in the field for metal doors either, unless you can weld and drill and tap, etc. If you have any questions regarding installation of these flush bolts, please feel free to reach out to me. I've done it, like I said, countless times. Rockwood is a full-line manufacturer of all things trim and auxiliary hardware related. Not only regular material like flush bolts, but armor plates, push and pull plates, door stops, and they have a full line of architectural door pulls, an exquisite line of architectural door pulls. And like I said, if it's Rockwood, it's synonymous with good quality fit and finish. That is for sure. Any questions on the Rockwood 555 or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.